God here, and today we have Jake from Tiki Token, the original, by the way, in the house. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing great, thanks, Crypto God. I'm really happy to be here, and just wanted to say, I'm really happy with the work you're doing in the whole crypto community, and it's a really refreshing thing to see as a public service to the community to kind of help people find these great projects. But I'll introduce myself really quickly. My name's Jake. I'm one of the community moderators on the Tiki team. My general responsibility is to kind of help coordinate planning with the team. Majority of my work is helping the community out with any questions or concerns and kind of making sure people feel kind of comfortable in the project. I'm also helping with some of the social stuff and generating some graphics and stuff as well.
Well, that's exciting. Well, hopefully you can get your high ups to come and talk to me, because
Definitely,
I want to talk to the brains behind the Tiki.
Definitely, that's something that can be arranged.
Fantastic. And I know that you guys are kind of like in a pivotal moment at the moment, right? You got
Definitely,
this really big advertising run that you're doing, and for me, there's things that I look at when I look at a project. Of course, we had a long talk of the things that I'm looking at right now for projects, because I'm kind of changing up the format a little bit.
Yep.
We started off this thing because I'm a YouTuber by trade, right? I make content, and there was a moment that I had where I was starting to hear some people say a lot of the same things. So vet people and make sure that your platform's a solid platform for people to stand on. And I think there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I like your community. I've seen people in your community, voice doubts and whatnot. And rather than just shutting them down and tossing them out, you guys talk it out with them.
Definitely. It is a very important thing to do, and silencing people that have concerns it causes great concern to other people, because from what your perspective as a team member dealing with a lot of stress from people, and you might just think it's pure FUD, can be perceived by the community as trying to be not transparent with everyone and kind of hiding something. Mm-hmm. So obviously not silencing those kind of people and letting them talk so they can kind of understand the issue. A strong emphasis we have on the community, though, is if you have concerns, especially really big concerns, is to try and message us directly so we can kind of keep it contained and kind of help you get to a position where you want to feel comfortable. And something, but definitely you're 100% right. If people do have issues, we will kind of nut it out in the chat, make sure everyone's really comfortable, have a nice conversation.
What I would like to kind of see in the future, right?
Yep.
Because transparency in the space is something that I push for.
100%.
Obviously, I try to push for it. Try to push for docs team, not docs team. To me, it's kind of what's the you open yourself up to attack first and foremost. Yep. And I haven't fully decided where I land on it yet, right?
Definitely
fully decided. And part of it is I understand wanting privacy because I have privacy myself, which I do, by the way, have a roadmap for when I'm going to be unveiling myself to the world, right? Because I have a bigger following elsewhere, and I just want to make sure all my personal security is in place before I let my fans know where I'm from and who I am, because that could be a nightmare in itself. I don't want some of these fans that are drawing themselves pregnant with my children showing up at my house.
Yeah. That's definitely respectable.
I want to install a security system first. That's what I'm waiting
on. Yeah, definitely. The whole idea behind doxing, in my opinion, especially with these very young BSC project, is it's a great thing. You're letting the community know who you are, but it doesn't really define success of a project. Success is something that's acquired long term and shown through merit of the project itself. And people, I personally believe, if people want to remain private for their own reasons, and specifically in this case with our team, it's because they've experienced issues in the past, which is a perfect reason why. And I respect anyone who wants to remain private, as long as they're showing what they're worth to the community, showing that they're committed to the project and are delivering on what they say. And that's the thing that matters at the end of the day.
Right. And not just that, right? like sometimes a project can list in the wrong place and they can operate in the wrong space. And we've seen that. And like having the proper security protocols are like really important, right? Like having the proper due diligence is like really major, right?
Yeah.
Like that is massive. You know, it's like it's a you have to, and I understand audits are expensive. Like a Certik audit is.
It is very expensive. Yeah.
It is not cheap. It's not cheap. But to an extent, if you are a successful corporation and you have your ducks in a row, you have the money.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, I that's that. We have to honestly, like, as a space, and that's why, like, pushing to where I'm only going to accept people that are above board about everything. Because at first it was, well, let's just talk about the space and people in the space.
Yeah.
And now it's, well, let's only bring on people that are upholding integrity.
Yeah.
Like, I would love my platform to be the place, Jake, that when people come on, they know, oh, these are good people. That's where I want to be. I don't want to no longer, I want my podcast to be a part of do your own research.
No, definitely. And like from what I've seen from your content and your whole attitude towards the project, obviously you've been doing a lot of research and taking a lot of time to look into these projects. And it's a really respectable thing that you're doing. And yeah, it is definitely important that people are able to find, especially if they're new to this, new to the whole BSE. It's a very exciting space.
And a lot of my audience
there's a lot going on.
A lot of my audience
exactly. Yeah, as a very attractive to especially younger audiences. And when they come into this really interesting and intriguing space, it's easy to get fooled by a lot of these projects, and not kind of knowing where to start can be dangerous, especially if you're going to invest in the projects that you haven't done research in. Yeah, and I think that's where you've kind of come in here as well, and kind of almost educating the community on what to look for. And I think it's going to be really big for you. Yeah, it's really amazing what you're doing.
So, I mean, I'm willing to talk to anybody as long as they can secure the safety of my listener. Like, definitely. That's number one. And we had a talk about Tiki and Certik and stuff like that. Like, yeah. And it concerns me to an extent because I have a list of like 10 audit companies that I trust because they're most widely trusted. And so when you have an audit done by one of these no-name audit companies, I don't know because I don't know them. And like there's this one audit company called Desert Finance and their audits look like a white paper.
Yeah, there's some definitely that are pretty low spectrum, don't look at a lot of factors and don't do a lot of the like big testing and research, and don't really they more just look at the contract, where I feel like companies like Certik look at the contract in depth as well as they look at everything surrounding it, the community, the transparency. They look at a lot of stuff, and this is why these audits obviously take time, is because they have to make sure that what they're releasing in this extremely detailed audit is a proper representation of what they think the project's worth as a whole, and not just looking at the code. Essentially, they're looking at the project's intentions and what they've done, how they deal with the community, how they deal on a social level. It's what I probably want to see with more other auditing companies as well. But their process, and why we've obviously chosen to get audited by them, is they can kind of show what our project is to serious investors, general investors, and they can kind of be there as well by our side to help us push forward to make sure that we're being the best that we can be and get to the points where we want to on our roadmap. And that's kind of my whole perspective of these, regardless of them being expensive. It's just that they're almost necessary.
Right. And you know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm going to pester Certik till someone from their company comes talk to me. I want to talk to Certik.
Yeah.
I want to talk to these auditing companies so people can understand more.
Definitely. Yeah. It's right? I think it's very important. Definitely. Yeah.
Like because I want to educate the people at home. I want to educate them at home. And so when we look at Tiki, right? We look at Tiki. And these are things that you guys are planning to address because we've discussed it, like the fact that, there's not anything listed about the team as of right now. That's open to see. And it says how to contact the team. It says Telegram or Discord. I don't like Telegram because there's a lot of security risk in Telegram.
I 100% agree with you. And we've experienced issues with Telegram and people coming in. Namely, like one of them, I'm sure a lot of communities can attest to this, is people being imposters of team members and trying to contact other team members. And it's something we've obviously tried to educate our community on, to always be careful and like let people know that we as admins or moderators would never contact anyone first. And this is something that people should always be aware of, and never giving out your private information whatsoever when someone is asking for it. It's very, and this is something that catches a lot of new investors. And it's something at the Tiki team and Tiki community, this is something we've had a really strong emphasis on, and always making sure that when people come into the community that they're well informed, they feel comfortable, and they feel safe.
Right.
Really
when you look at Telegram, right, it's very easy to infect people's devices with malicious links and cookies and bad redirects and things of that.
Definitely.
There isn't any real security, right? You can't tell different users from bots, so it's easy to populate a Telegram with hundreds of thousands of people to make a project look good.
Definitely, yeah.
Then you got it's just all that. It's very open to attack. So I've been saying from day one that crypto needs to get away from Telegram.
I actually agree with you there. Personally, I actually only really found out around Telegram once I started getting into these BSC projects, because it seemed to be
I only have a Telegram because of crypto and doing this job, and it's on a complete separate device that's not connected to my studio computer.
A very smart idea.
I will not hook up my studio setup to Telegram. That will never happen.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. Personally, I'm more someone that's interested in I've always been a Discord user, and I feel like there's always a risk with Discord as well, with people DMing you malicious links and trying to just take advantage of you ultimately. And I feel like it's probably less of an issue on Discord because there's a lot less risks overall, in my opinion. But yeah, you're definitely right with Telegram. It is a bit of a malicious space, and it's probably why the whole crypto environment is kind of accumulated around it, because in crypto there is a lot of these kind of people that will prey on these inexperienced people, and it's obviously something I truly despise. Majority in the BSC space. And it's something that we're trying to kind of avoid as a whole. We're trying to kind of create our own name, own reputation. We've created our own unique product, as I said, we're the first BSC token to reward our holders in BNB with an automatic claim system. And this is something that our development team has made themselves. And they're really passionate about it, and really passionate about pushing it forward and going on and on. They don't want this to be a typical pump and dump token. They don't want it to copy someone's reputation. They don't want to manipulate people into thinking this is something that it isn't. They want people to look at it from what we've achieved and kind of trust that we're doing all we can to make sure this gets to the big time. We want to make sure we don't want to play it just by months. We want to look years ahead. And this is something that the team's kind of shown emphasis on. And we want to do this while building our community and making that really strong. And that's something personally I'm personally interested in, is the community aspect. While the people in the back do all the serious stuff. This is something that I'm really passionate about, is the community. While the project progresses in terms of its development. And I think those two things, community and the project, go hand in hand to success. And that's something that our Tiki community is truly passionate about, making sure that those people feel safe, and while they can be invested in something that is benefiting them financially, and they feel like they're not investing in something that is going to be high risk. That's kind of my perspective of everything.
Right. And so we look at Tiki a little bit, right? And the rewards always do go out hourly. Is that true?
No, this is actually the case. Initially, this was actually quite a bit of an issue we had with the community. This kind of first was a bit of the confusion with the whole system. It is intended at the higher volumes. It will be an hourly payout, probably something around the 5 million to 10 million range. You're going to be seeing hourly payouts or even faster. But the way the payout system, the rewards protocol works, and I believe it's a really elegant system, is it will delay the payment at lower volumes, but your rewards will accrue every 60 minutes, but the payout won't occur every 60 minutes generally if the volume is lower. And the way this is, I believe, is really, as an elegant system, is that you don't have to worry about going in every day to a platform to manually collect your rewards. Although it is an option on our platform, we give the option for the users to actually go in and claim their rewards whenever they want. That have accrued, but we can kind of create a system that doesn't what I like to call a transaction fee trap, where I've seen with other tokens, I won't name them, where you can't actually claim your reward because there's literally no point, because the transaction fee exceeds the actual reward you're getting unless you invest a large amount of money into it. And that's what I've kind of liked about our token reward system, is that even though the payout system might lead to 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 22 hours, depending on where the volume gets to, you know that your rewards will be accruing over that time, and you're going to get your payment automatically, and it's something you just don't have to worry about. And it's literally why the emphasis of the project is you can earn BNB while you sleep. You can live your life. You don't have to worry about. You don't have to make it a part of your day. You can simply hold the token and be rewarded. And that's kind of the main incentive behind it with some of our holders.
All right. Now, is there any stories about the project that you would like to share? Because I know you said there were some interesting things that you wanted to talk about a little bit.
No, definitely.
Past and so on and so forth. And I would love to
definitely
have the discussion, because here's the thing, right? Like, I think you wanted to bring some clarity to the story to an extent, right?
Definitely. One thing I believe I was having a chat with you earlier about was kind of the beginning of our project, and I came in obviously a lot later, and after this initial incident happened. I'll call it the incident, I guess, the start of the project. So the Tiki token was actually originally called the Maui token. And a lot of people might have remembered this token, and it had the same obviously structure as this what we have now. But it launched successfully, but it was a flaw in the contract that basically people could take more rewards than they were given. And obviously the dev team realized this issue really quickly, and they had to stop the project and recreate it into what we have now as the Tiki token project. And obviously there was a lot of people affected by this that did lose money, and our dev team was working really quickly to identify the people that lost funds in this. They were airdropped new Tiki tokens on the release. They were allocated new Tiki tokens to replace the Maui tokens that they lost. And they also entered into our unique recovery protocol, which is actually something that's inbuilt into our dashboard. And this is going to be a slow system over time that repays the exact BNB that they invested into the project, and they're going to get that back over time. And this is something they can go into the dashboard, track how much BNB they've accumulated from the rewards protocol, and they can collect it back slowly over time. So this is something, and I don't think anyone would have. They didn't have to do this at all. And this was my kind of entry point into the community, because I saw this transparency, and this is something that they didn't have to do. They could have, the dev team, the core team could have walked away. They could have said, "Yep, we're going to start something else. Sorry guys, happens. This is crypto. Sorry." They did something that just kind of shocked me. And this was kind of my entry into the project. Like I said, I wasn't here from the beginning. I kind of came in probably a week into the Tiki project. And I saw this, and this was an extremely attractive quality, because it was completely out of the ordinary for what you would see in these BSC projects. And I feel like it's kind of blossoming into this really committed community that trusts what the project is doing and knows that it's kind of it's created this strong foundation for us where it's built on trust, and it's a really strong. People are going to see that we're committed to pushing more updates, and they know that this project's going to be something amazing in the future. That's what I kind of wanted to emphasize about the kind of story about our token, is that it might have had a bad beginning, but it's kind of created something that is just beautiful now, and something completely needed in the crypto space, and especially the BSC community.
Right. So pretty much like some bad went down, right?
Yeah.
And now they're working hard to fix it.
Exactly, and it's been going really well so far, and the people that are affected, they're really happy because those people were given reimbursements back in the Tiki tokens that were lost, and they also entered into that recovery program. And on the first couple of days of launch, I wasn't in the pre-sale, unfortunately, and I didn't get in early. As I said, I came in probably a week later, after the kind of initial hype. And from the volumes that we had in those first couple of days, from the initial hype, as you see in a lot of BSC projects, which is pretty normal, you see the highs and then the consolidation stage. They made back all their money just from the BNB rewards. Not everyone, obviously, that was investing. A lot of people sold the price highs because they didn't understand what they had. And a lot of these people that held on the whole time, they came back and they said, where did I get all this BNB from? Because we had volumes in the couple of days where they're like, I think the first couple of days was like 10 million, 9 million, 5 million, 6 million. And these are really good volumes at the start, and was a really successful launch into this new project from an essentially unfortunate beginning. And people were so happy with this, and they saw what the token was doing, and these rewarders that were affected, they were just ecstatic with happiness. They were like, this is beautiful. And even through the lower volume periods that we're kind of experiencing now, they can still see that even if they're not getting the rewards they had at the start, which are completely possible to get back at the start, they're still being rewarded, and they don't have to really stress about it, because they know that the project's in good hands, and there's going to be amazing things going forward from here.
I know, right now I'm leaving kind of to Twitter because I have a lot of people that are very passionate about what I do. There's a lot of people, and there's some that are more in my ear than others, right?
Yeah.
And one of the big things that's being pushed is a docs team, right? And I understand the concerns, and I don't as long as they hold up and hold true, I think it's acceptable. But I think it would also be it would go a long way, considering what's happened in the past, to be upfront and forward, right? Maybe not docs to the point where your address is out there.
Definitely
not. I don't ever advocate having your address out there. But being able to look at and fact check the claims of what a person does, I think is really, really essential. What projects are they actually attached to? And it's not like they haven't owned the attachment to the previous failure.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I find a lot of power in, by the way. To have a mistake happen.
Yeah.
And then continue to push forward it's very admirable.
Definitely. And it was actually the first 2 weeks after this incident, from the Maui project to the Tiki project. And on the Tiki website, the first module of text had the heading "Learning from Our Mistakes," and this is when I came in and I saw. I'm like, what do you mean? What happened? And they had a full info of exactly what happened. They showed the transactions of an individual manipulating and taking advantage of the flaw in the contract, and in this body of text, they were explaining how they've had the mistakes and they're learning from the issues, and they want to move forward from here, and they want to make it right from everyone. This is what kind of caught my attention. I'm like, well, what? They're admitting their mistakes right the first thing an investor sees. That was shocking for me.
And
especially
also, what I would like to see too, right?
Yeah.
On on the trend, how we're kind of talking about the future of your project and my project is, I want to be so ruthless with the truth that scam coins are scared to talk to me. Because one already has ran from me, by the way. Did you know that?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Supermoon is running scared from me. I went into their Telegram, and they were ignoring one of the people in the community, asking what sets you apart from 1,000 other meme coins. I said, don't worry, I will ask them that in the interview, and they banned me from their Telegram.
Oh no, that's terrible.
So if you have contacts in the supermoon community, you need to be like, why won't you talk to Crypto God? Why did you ban him? Because this is the thing. I want to strike fear into the hearts.
I love that, man. That's truly a blessing in the crypto world. That's really something that I'd like to do as well, but it is very hard to kind of educate everyone. And with your platform that you've developed, it's very great for you. It's an easy thing for you to do, and you can kind of grab the attention of everyone and kind of inform them on what projects are good and what projects you think are things that people should avoid. And I completely respect that. What you're doing, it's truly
like,
amazing.
I'm about to do something completely new on the channel where I start calling people out, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
because now that I'm limiting the good projects to talk about, I can talk about the bad ones.
That's really amazing, man. Yeah, I mean, it is. People probably those tokens that you're calling out, they're not gonna like it. But I mean, you're doing your service.
There's one that I was really good friends with, and then I discovered some shady shit. I'm not going to say anything yet because I'm waiting for a video. But like, you're going to start noticing there's going to be videos disappearing off of the channel starting like today. By the time this airs, the catalog's going to be wiped with everything that was like super shady, and like, because it's so important to me. Like,
yeah, definitely,
it's important to me, and that there's an above board thing, and and I think because the equation for success for any project is how are you executing, and
definitely
we've seen the channel kind of stall out and not grow, and I think the reason why is because what I've missed up to this point was that ruthless accountability.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. People would, in my opinion, people will love and respect that if you're kind of going out of your way, going into more of an uncomfortable position to kind of help the community. That's probably my perspective. I'm sure you're completely fine with it.
You know what I was thinking about doing? I was thinking about publishing a list of projects that approached me that didn't make the cut.
Yeah, that's pretty ruthless. Yeah.
I am serious, and then that's a call out for accountability and fix your project.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Like, and it's easy. It's kind of easy to pass my stuff. Have a good audit. Make sure your website's up to snuff. Make sure that you have sustainable tokenomics, like longevity.
Yeah, definitely.
Longevity. That's the other thing too. Like, I had talked to a token, Toys token, and they have had 6. Yesterday they had 6 transactions.
Yep.
6. Okay. Not a lot. And I asked them, do you have an audit? They're like, we can't afford it. Well, folks, if they can't afford an audit, they're really not a currency.
Yeah, it's more of a necessity if you want to try and be serious and attract those serious investors at the same time. I can totally agree with that.
And I just want to have serious projects. And, it's also kind of like this is where my other itch comes in. With the influx of copycat coins.
Yeah.
There's 2 reasons to make a copycat coin. Only 2. Are you ready?
Yeah, for it.
Number 1. And this is, I find probably to be the most accurate depiction.
Yeah.
They want to rob people.
It is the sad truth. Yeah.
3. They want to rob people. They're aiming for a pump and dump, and they're wanting to have, or they want, the very more seldom thing is they want to improve upon the original ideal. And that's not as common as others.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like do I allow copycats on at all?
Yeah.
Because you know how many copycats there are. How much time am I going to be spending investigating these copycats versus I could just make a rule and say no.
No, definitely. I can.
What do you think? What do you think I should do on that one? Because that's like something. Every time I talk to someone, they're like, I don't know about not allowing them on. Period.
Yeah.
Because I almost made a rule back in the day that I'm only going to let doxed people on, and then I did some research into the risk into. I'm like, oh man, this puts me in a weird spot. But what do you think about this copycat stuff?
Yeah. So with copycats overall, especially it is, I have mixed feelings about the whole situation, especially with the Tiki project as a whole. Since our launch, we've kind of pretty much created a wave of these new projects in the whole BSC community. We've had people copying our project, even like chucking our name. I won't name any projects because I don't want to call anyone out. Because and these projects have failed now, so I won't call out any of those failed projects anyway. But we've had probably more than 20 plus forks of our token. Where most of them have been either like scams, just rug pulls, or it's just inexperienced developers are not understanding the complexities of the contract and coming into issues, and ultimately the investors that came into the project were pretty much left empty-handed at that state. But I do think this is a concern when people are taking advantage of something that we have created, this Tiki token, with its amazing tokenomics and the amazing contract that we have, and turning it into something that's it's taking advantage of vulnerable people that aren't doing their research. And this is probably one of the big issues of the BSC community, is these copycats. And it's probably something we've kind of seen with the launch of the SafeMoon token, which is kind of like, I'd say, the father of RFI static reward tokens. And we've seen I'd say tens of thousands of BSC projects that are copying the same tokenomics, but with no real direction or with the intention to scam people, by baiting people in with essentially empty promises. But I do believe there is a good side of it. There are some projects that are being copycat projects, and they do have good intentions. They do have a good roadmap, and they're using this model, these contracts. They're forking these projects and turning it into something that creates utility, and they have a sense of direction. But I think ultimately, overall, people that do copycat these tokens have these intentions on their investors and are only really looking just to make money at the expense.
I mean, again, I talked to some of the guys from these copycat tokens, and honestly, I like some of the people.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hard for me. Okay? You don't understand. Let me explain something, Jake. I like people.
I like people too, man.
I like people. I like talking to people. I want to make friends, okay? And,
definitely.
There was this one guy that I talked to, and it was really, really good. And then I had this whole meeting with my soul on what I was going to publish. And I had to send him a really unfortunate message because I loved the podcast.
Yeah.
I loved the podcast. I loved the conversation. I loved the conversation. And I was like, I have to wait for your Certik audit to come back. It's in process right now, because
definitely
the other audit that's on there is not an audit.
No, I can totally agree with that. And you're protecting yourself at the end of the day and your reputation. You don't want to be putting content out for your viewers and potential investors on something that isn't, you feel, worthy for their eyes. I can definitely agree with that.
And I like the guy personally as a person. Yeah. One of my favorite conversations I've had.
Yeah.
And I've had to I've canceled all my other interviews for the day because they didn't pass my new requirements.
Yeah.
And I'm just part of me, the content creator in me, okay, is what are you doing? You gotta have content. Gotta have content. What are you doing? Don't you know if you don't have daily content, you're going to fail? Yeah, yes, inside voice. Well, then what are you doing? I'm having integrity. Well, that's stupid. I know. And and it's this thing though. What I'm doing is too important.
Exactly. And you're the first I've kind of seen in the whole crypto space to be doing what you're doing. And I think you're going to be really successful, in my opinion, obviously. And you're going to attract a good audience and kind of bring that positivity back to the whole BSC community with the flaws that it has, especially with these projects launching, and kind of guide people in the right direction, especially with what you've done in your own research and kind of pushing that your own due diligence onto your listeners. And that's amazing.
I mean, I'm really kind of thinking about publishing a list of projects that didn't make the cut and what the response to that was.
Yeah.
As a database of
that's
I don't know, right? Like it's this whole thing of I want to hold the space to a higher standard, my standard.
I think that's really admirable. Yeah, and it is content if you think about it. So what could go wrong?
Yeah, put out a video once a week and be like, hey guys, I've talked to 18 projects this week and only 3 passed the cut. These are the 3 projects you need to know that aren't doing the things. Oh my God, that would be, talk about getting attacked. Talk about getting attacked, right?
That sounds like views to me.
It sounds like views to me too.
But yeah, obviously, do make sure you do your research. Obviously, and I have no doubt that you've done your research to these projects before you make these statements.
I have like a third party person.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
I ask him to confirm my suspicions. Then I have another third party person that I bounce it to, and I let them kind of guide me.
Yeah,
a little bit, because that's what you need to do.
No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, it's rough out there, and it's good to make sure before you make these accusations that you do have the evidence. That you look like you're all over that.
It would just be consigning their responses to it, though, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like there was one project that I talked to, since they're going to get it fixed.
Yeah,
get back to me. It's the ones that refuse to do anything.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
like is what I'm contemplating. Let me know in the comments, folks, if you think that is something that the world needs. Let me know, right? Let me know, people. So, Mr. Jake, you've been in this community for a while. How long has the project been alive?
I think we're just coming in on, in terms of the Tiki project, it's probably been listed for about a month and a half now. So we're still very, very young in my opinion, and there's so much stuff in the pipeline that we can kind of expect to see to build onto this amazing foundation that we already have, and this rewarding to holders, and namely those updates, as explained in our previous talk, is one that everyone's kind of waiting for, is the staking platform and the partnership we have to make that a possibility. Which is going to be really cool because it allows holders to pretty much earn more rewards over time. But there's going to be a lot more information coming on that, and maybe we can have a talk in the future once you've kind of seen where we're at, and we can kind of give you more information about that and how everyone's like kind of dealing with it and how it's benefiting everyone. Another thing as well, like we mentioned, I don't really talk about it too much, but the upcoming Certik audit, and they came back to us around 2 days ago with the initial draft, and Beach Warrior, the development team, is really looking over those final things. And there was I can announce to everyone, it has been announced in our AMA that we had last week, but there was actually no major issues with the reward distribution part of the contract, and it just seemed to be some access and information errors that needed to be addressed. So this is like really, really good news to me, and I believe our development team scheduled 3 to 5 days to fix the issues, and it's going to be sent back to Certik to kind of get those their revised audit, and it's going to finally go live on the website, which everyone's really excited for and has been waiting really patiently for. And that can kind of propel us in the right direction to kind of consolidate our legitimacy to the wider public as a serious project. Not that we aren't at the moment, but it kind of puts it out there that we've done the work to get it where we need to be, and we have this amazing audit with this amazing company to prove it. And it's going to be a really cool couple of weeks ahead for us.
Certik is in my top 3.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're a truly amazing company.
And I got that list put together by, I have, 10 overall, 6 which are closer, more guaranteed than I have a top 3.
Yeah.
And it's and you can look up these sort of things too, people. You can do your own research and find some stuff.
Definitely. Yeah.
And, it's going to be a really tiring next few days, because I'm really starting to dig into this whole, I've always had integrity in the space.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
But this higher call for accountability.
Yeah.
And that's what Crypto God's been missing with these projects. Every project that I brought on is what's the accountability that's there,
Definitely. Yeah.
And like, I think if you have integrity and accountability in both hands, then you can't really go wrong. And I'm seeing with your team holding themselves accountable to the people.
Definitely.
That's why I feel comfortable with releasing this before the Certik.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've been through a lot of hardship in the whole community itself, and to see that the team's essentially been there for the community, like step by step. Obviously, you're kind of assuring everyone that everyone's going to be safe. We're in a good community. We're all there for each other. And this project's going places. It's in the right direction, and we've obviously learned from our mistakes in the past, and we're moving forward. And that's the main important thing. Dwelling on the past, learning from our mistakes, and moving forward is something that we want to make sure we're doing. And it's the direction that we're in now, especially with all these really good updates, which are pretty much weeks away from being dropped. We should see a community announcement and some tweets going out about this soon, which I'm super pumped for. In the whole project itself, so it's stuff to look out for, and I hope you keep track of our project and make sure you keep us in line, make sure we're doing what we're meant to be doing.
I promise you one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Since I am now your friend,
definitely. Yeah.
If it goes bad, I will be making a very public video.
I'm so keen for that.
I literally want to be able to be the reason why a project can succeed or fail. I want to be one of the contributing factors.
Definitely. I'm happy for you to rip us to shreds if you feel
I
kind of diverging from the path.
I will.
I love it,
promise.
Man. Yeah, that's all right. I'm completely confident in where we're going with the project, and I'm really happy where the community stands at the moment. Even though we're pretty small at the moment, we're pushing in that direction.
Your community is one of the primary reasons I'm here.
Yeah,
it really
I'm sure they're really inviting.
They showed up.
Friendly.
They showed up on my Twitter and went into my DMs on their own. The team didn't. The community did. It was Crypto America on Twitter.
Yeah, I had someone message me like, "Hey, check out this guy. He's offering to do a meeting with you." And I'm like, "Oh wow, awesome! Can you get him to DM me? I'm just really interested in that. I'm so happy that it's happened. Especially meeting you. You're an amazing person from what I see, and you've got your head screwed on. Yeah,
I try.
Yeah.
I got anxiety, but I'm trying.
No, I can respect everything you stand for, especially in this. It's a brutal environment in crypto, and you need to show that assertiveness. And I completely support the direction you're going with. Like you said, you want to see these projects have accountability for what they're saying and what they're promising to everyone. And I completely respect that in every sense of the word. It's you're doing God's work.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I mean, I care about the space so much. And you know where that comes from, to be honest? People.
Yeah, definitely.
And I have this really amazing person that listens. She's a retired paralegal. She doesn't really have anybody.
Yeah.
And the thought that she could invest into something that could hurt her breaks my heart.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that.
And I have to make sure that she stays safe.
Yeah, definitely.
I
always want to kind of bring in the people like my family, my friends in real life around me into crypto, but I really don't know how to say it in a way that doesn't sound like I'm just making nonsense, because that's what it really is. And bringing him to the space is something I don't really feel comfortable at the moment, because just with everything happening at the moment and the way people are in crypto, bringing him into something that's dangerous, it's the whole community of BSS. There's a lot of good in it, but for that amount of good, there's 3 times the amount of bad. And I'm so hoping that shifts eventually, especially as we head towards a world of more crypto adoption, which I'm expecting to see over the next couple of years. And that's overall where our project wants to head, into real world integration in the years to come. This is talking years. We obviously, timelining a project that far ahead, especially in crypto where there's a lot of uncertainty, is never a good idea. So we're taking it by a year, and I think that's a good approach for any crypto project. But this is the main incentive for our core team in Beach Warrior. That's his main goal. His development experience. He's had 25 years experience. He's very, very senior, 25 years experience in software development, and approximately around 20 years as well in fintech as well. So he's very reputable. As he expressed this in one of the AMAs we had with the I think it was the Blockcast community, Asia Blockcast community. It was really good insight to his experience and overviews of where he wants to see the project. So that's just something that I've kind of seen from the team itself and the devs. They're not here just to make something that makes money. They're here to make something that makes an impact and makes a difference in the whole crypto world itself.
That was the word I was looking for. Makes a difference. Yeah,
exactly. Because that's where we need to go, especially when we're trying to make this world seem appealing to people that don't know about it. And the whole archetype of this project that we're creating is an idea that you can invest in a project that rewards you for simply holding the token, and that's a very incentive for people to hold, especially since they don't need to worry about technicals. And obviously, obtaining these tokens now it's super difficult for someone that isn't really technically inclined to the whole BSC space. And I'm hoping that changes.
That's one of the reasons I kind of hate the BSC.
It is
to an extent.
It is.
It's
difficult,
a nightmare and a half.
That's why our dev team at the moment is having. I don't know if I brought this up. We're in conversation. I'm not in conversation. I don't have that clearance. But the dev team, core team's in conversation with some of these centralized exchanges to try and figure out the best way to implement our tokenomics and our reward structure into their system, so it can work on their end as well as benefit both holders on each end. So this is something that's kind of in conversation at the moment. I'm hoping to hear some really good news about this in the coming weeks and months, because it will be really big when we can land on these exchanges that makes it easier to acquire the Tiki token, and these holders on these exchanges be able to get rewards as well, which is just really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, man, like, I'm super excited about the future of your project, to see the audit and to see what becomes of it. I think
definitely, yeah.
I think honestly, like, you're great people.
Yeah, we always try to make sure that we're being the best that we can. We're people at the end of the day, and everyone makes mistakes. We try and make the best of it. We always try and, like you said, we have accountability for our mistakes, and try and push that forward to everyone else, who makes sure everyone's feeling comfortable. We're always supporting one another, and no one's perfect. We try and see the good in all the bad of people, especially in this crypto world, and we try to make sure that we're kind of having that emphasis on the community, so people feel welcome regardless of who they are in the real world. And that's kind of my incentive to kind of be in this world, the anonymity of it. You can kind of be whoever you want to be. You can kind of express yourself as you want to. And this is why I think crypto, and as a whole, and it's almost like you're detaching from your real world identity and coming into something to be expressing how you really feel. Whereas in real world, where you might find it difficult to express these feelings to people, and that's something that I've kind of found really attractive about it. And I'm really going off topic from the project here, but this is something that I personally feel about, and it's something I'm really passionate about, and why I'm so committed to these communities.
Right. It's there's so much cool stuff in the works.
Definitely, yeah.
And I really I look forward to the future of the space, because I see hope.
Definitely, yeah.
I see hope for the space.
It's still very, very young, in my opinion. It might seem developed. It might seem that everything's done, but I can probably say this: there's crypto's world of surprises, and I think we ain't seen nothing yet. Especially with our projects, the places we want to go, especially into the real world integration, like years down the line, is something that it might seem like a dream at this point, but in the coming years, as crypto becomes more of a natural integration. Like the way I see it, and this is something actually someone explained to me when I was in a voice chat with someone. They're like, when we saw the internet first, and we kind of didn't really accept it. It was a big change that we didn't really want to see. I mean, it's probably bad that I'm saying this because I'm a millennial, and I can't really say this, but it kind of showed me this idea that this is something that's really good and it's beneficial to the world. Crypto overall, that is, not just like our token itself, and being able to be a part of that and being able to foresee what crypto can become, especially with our team. They have these insights, and they want to see themselves a part of that revolution, a part of that future.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Definitely, I've had an excellent time with you, and really great chat.
It's been wonderful.
Really yeah, thank you, Crypto God.
It's been wonderful, and I really appreciate you coming out.
Nah, I appreciate you as well, especially for coming into our community and having a chat with everyone and reaching out to me as well after that interaction you had with one of the community members. It was really great to see. And like I said, you're doing God's work in crypto, and I can't wait to see what you come out with next, because I'll definitely be following you from now on to see all the amazing stuff that gets released. I'm so excited for it.
Thank you.
So.
Well, folks, it's that time. You got to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with all of your friends, and then ring the bell to get information on all the new projects that are coming down the pipeline in the space with new heightened levels of accountability. That's right. So we're going to be doing some changes. We're going to make things happen, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Now, with that being said, folks, that is the end of the show. And the last thing you need to do when you get yourself some Tiki token is you got to hodl that